I want to make a short video about enlightenment because most people, the majority, don't understand enlightenment, even though it is the main goal of Buddhism and used to be the main goal of Christianity, enlightenment. But anyway, it's only going to be a short video. Yeah. And I became enlightened at the age of 21. Enlightenment is when you've had so much suffering that the mind closes down. You stop thinking and you just become aware. And it can happen to lots of people. Just at the spur of the moment, you become enlightened because that's the only way the mind can cope. Well, I became enlightened in Leeds in 1977 at the age of 21. I was nearly sacked by Excess Insurance in Worthing, where I was a trainee computer programmer, because I liked to have a drink, as did everybody else, at the bar at lunchtime in the subsidised bar. So I was put on a written warning by the program manager, Ian Sharp, at Excess Insurance in Worthing, which is now the sixth form college. So I got a job in Leeds as computer programmer at the 600 group on the outskirts of Leeds. It was an iron and steel company on the outskirts of Leeds, and it was very, very stressful. And I'm trying to keep it brief. I was only there about 6 weeks. We had training course at IBM Sudbury in London, where all these idiots from Leeds came down in a Ford Escort. And even though I lived down south quite a while down there, they didn't think I knew anything about down south because they were from Leeds. So after we went on this training course at IBM 3790 in London, IBM Sudbury, and went to the Raymond Review Bar, etc., and they didn't even believe that I knew the bloody tube. Idiots. We went back to the 600 group, and I was churning out programs on IBM 3790, which was IBM's very first attempt at distributed processing. Anyway, to cut a long story short, I was churning out programs so fast I was showing everybody else up. So the IT manager, as it would be called now, data processing manager it was in those days, called me into his office and told me I was sacked. And I had to collect my few belongings and leave the premises. Yeah, which came as a bit of a shock because I hadn't really done anything wrong. 600 group on the outskirts of Leeds. I didn't have much money. I was in platform shoes, and it was February 1977. But I got out the bloody door of 600 group, and I looked up, and the sun was shining. I was fine, and quite honestly, I didn't give a flying F. So I set off for Leeds Station in my platform shoes. And I called in the shop and swapped my Access credit card for a couple of packets of fags and walked back to Leeds Station. I was staying in Harrogate with a so-called mate called Terry Linton, and he'd been in contact with my brother to say I was behaving very strangely. Yeah, I was behaving very strangely because I was becoming enlightened. I eventually got back to the flat in Harrogate, 4 Dragon Road, and my brother had been persuaded to come up from Nottingham. And to cut a long story short, they talked to me and I hadn't eaten all day and they didn't make me any food. They decided to take me to the police station where I tried to explain it to the policeman at Harrogate Police Station. And I'll keep this short, but having become enlightened, which is the aim of the Buddhists, they all decided to put me in a taxi and take me to Clifton Mental Asylum in York for the crime of becoming enlightened. And I was only 21 and it was a bloody scary place. Not as bad as recent places they put me, but bad enough. Age 21, enlightened, Clifton Hospital, York. And this psychiatrist decided I had hypomania, then paranoid schizophrenia, etc., and put me on loads of drugs, including lithium, which is horrendous, haloperidol, you name it, they put me on that shit to get me back to normal. And at the end of it, I came out with a carrier bag of bloody psychiatric drugs. And I couldn't work for 2 years. It was that bad. So that's enlightenment for you. And can be nice, but there's a price to pay. And trust me, you don't get enlightened by having a good time, getting pissed up and eating too much food. You become enlightened through suffering. The mind closes down and you're free. That's what happened to me anyway. So there we have it. I don't know.